is good? My anime faithful. What is good, yo? Guys, we are getting some interesting stuff always out of anime lately. And to think that this show ended like last week, and here we are getting a special. Um, I thought it was going to be something else. I completely thought it was going to be a actual like the season 2 had started already and I was about to start tripping out, but it looks like this was just a special. It looked like this could have been something that they actually uh you know made. Like this episode felt like it could have been season 2, but because of the way this all winds up, it's definitely a good way just to gauge the audience and give them something else after the season ended, because this is pretty important. Because imagine if season 2 now starts with our main character um, outside of the tower, and that's not where the last season episode ended, right? So now this actually feels more or less like very canon stuff, and that season 2 is just going to start us out in the neck of the woods somewhere, after their travels have already began. When this is picking up uh, before they leave, why they're leaving, and we get some interesting information of why supposedly our main character has been exiled, like banished from coming back. And I thought that was an interesting way of keeping him out of the city, keeping him away from the sorcerers and stuff like that, because most of this stuff only popped off because he showed up. And I know he probably feels bad about that. So now that he doesn't, now that he's, gone, it wouldn't be as much of an issue. So I could kind of see why he ended up leaving, or quote unquote being banished, but it seemed like he's leaving on his own accord because it's not like people are watching him or making him, leave at a certain time and stuff like that. But the whole main reason of our main homie that actually gives him his medallion back, his Tower of Fangs, pretty much tell you that he's one of them, which I don't think he should have got back. Like I think this whole thing with pride in this show is very apparent, because what happened last time when he was rocking something like this? Oh yeah, they got attacked because they can just tell he's a sorcerer, right? Um, those types of things I feel like can easily be left or like not worn if you're going to be traveling and there's multiple upon multiple people who are going to be out gunning for you. So why put yourself in more danger by rocking it? And that's just what I call pride, like, oh, I'm gonna show where I'm from, how I got it, where I'm from, and all that stuff. I get that. That's cool. But to put yourself in risk with people that you know can't defend themselves nearly as well as they would want to, and you kind of already know that, hence why he wanted to go on this journey alone, it's just not a good look, in my opinion. Like, it seemed like something really simple of not having that, and you should be fine. But whatever, whatevs. If it makes for better content and better storytelling at the end of the day, sure, let's go. Um, Other than that, though, we really get to just see how the whole sword incident even came about, and not so much how the switch happened, right? Like how she ended up in Childman's body, and Childman ended up as the dragon, So that was the one thing that was a little bit left out, or, left to our interpretation on how it happened with the information of when we found out it happened. So I understand, I guess, if they don't want to rehash that, seeing how they already pretty much explained that it happened. It's just that visually it was hard to actually see it happening, I guess you can say. But yeah, get to see how ridiculously powerful Childman and the Chaos Witch is by seeing them pretty much just slap through an army or at least like a dozen of killing dolls. To be fair, these killing dolls did not have the protege, uh, like the successor as their base, so they were nowhere near as strong probably compared to them having the same magic as our main character and stuff like that. So it made sense why they're probably much more easier to take out and handle compared to the one that the Chaos Witch created and wanted to do a certain thing, and it built its own will of its own. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see them referenced back into the show and kind of give us an understanding where she might have found some, or where she would understand, how deadly they are, how useful they are, and then come to find out that they're too useful, or not too useful, but they're too unpredictable with the ability to just become their own person. So overall, this episode was a good, I think, I guess I'll call it a special. But the way that they like labeled it was like season two, and then they're like special episodes. So we might get another episode of this. I've never seen a special just be like one episode and be done with it. So hopefully we do get to see more, because I was enjoying this show. And if this is their way of just being like, oh, by the way, we're gonna keep giving you a whole bunch of stuff until the next season actually pops off, and that's what you're gonna watch afterwards, I'm down for it. Including if it's gonna fill in gaps that season two is not going to fill in. That's huge, right? Because a lot of this stuff nowadays, they don't even give you the opportunity to watch, special episodes to get some understanding of where the characters should have been when they're already just like doing something and we're like, so how did this happen again? This feels like they actually really care about the story and that they care to actually give us more information than most shows would or feel like they had to. So appreciate that. Only thing I have to say about this is because it's a special, it definitely used a lot of the backstory stuff, like the 5 year gap between the Chaos Witch and Childman finding the sword, all the way up to the point where she got exiled, or she exiled herself, and yada yada, So it's that type of stuff. Why is he inside of my character? It's that type of stuff that you could have guessed how things went, but this is more like, just here you go. This is a clear understanding. Take it or leave it, and that will be all. So with all that being said, everybody, I hope you're having an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. Check out this show if you haven't already. This is just one of the specials that came out explaining some more exposition of things that happened that I guess maybe they just didn't have enough time to do. But I was curious to see what this was because we did get a preview at the end of the final season finale. So now we know exactly why we got that. So with all that being said, take care and peace.